Alright, so we are live. Let me just make sure we're looking good. Alright. I'll pull up the solo trailer. Oh, that Deadpool trailer was awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was cool. Alright, awesome. We got the hang on. Sweet. Let's pause the trailer. Alright, awesome. Oh, hey guys. Welcome back to Talking Sith. We got a little bit of a different setup tonight. I have the face cam going, and we got cool little, I got the artwork and the production values just through the roof today. It's ridiculous. It's like we're almost like we know what we're doing at some point. Kinda, not really. But we finally got the trailer, man. I'm so excited. It looks so good. Solo, a Star Wars story, is turning out to be. I'm more excited for it than I thought I would be originally. Originally, I was I was super skeptical about the Han Solo movie. Now I'm like, I can't wait for it. I'm so excited. It's gonna be so good. But yeah, what do you think of the teaser trailer? What did you think of that when you saw it during the Super Bowl?
I mean, it was cool because they hadn't, at least none of the things that I followed had said, hey, there's going to be a teaser at the Super Bowl. So it was kind of neat. I mean, we had hoped for it. Plus, I was here with Will. So it was kind of cool when it came up. I thought, in terms of content, I liked the teaser a lot. I actually, having watched both, I might have liked the teaser a little bit more. But I liked it a lot. I thought, I'm like you. I mean, I love Han Solo. He's my favorite character in maybe anything, and especially, but definitely Star Wars. And I was super just nervous about the direction of the movie. And we've talked about it on Talking Sith at least once a week for a while now. And
Yeah.
I think that I was just so nervous. I had not a good feeling about where it was going to go, and I was of the mindset, well, as long as it's not a dumpster fire, then that's a win.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't really think anything beyond that. As long as it was watchable, I was going to consider that a good thing.
Yeah.
And against my better judgment, the teaser and the trailer both made me way more stoked than I was. So I'm really, really excited. I think that, we're going to break it down, but I think that the Falcon and Lando both look good enough to carry the movie, even if the rest of it's garbage. I think they both looked 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's very true.
It looks good.
I was talking to a guy at work, and we both said, like, this is definitely going to be, like, the Lando movie. Like,
I hope so.
that's what we're both hoping, is that, like, I'm hoping that it'll really, he'll shine. And I think he will, just because,
he has that charisma,
great.
And he has that sort of, I don't know, actor's eye for taking over that sort of role. He did it in Community a lot, where he just sort of, not by way of, being written as a star or anything, he just took the center of your attention a lot in a lot of his scenes, even in ensemble casts. So I think that I think he's well suited for the role. I like all the little nuances of the trailer. There's a lot of little things that they do, just tiny things that are neat little throwbacks. But yeah, the Falcon, the way the Falcon flies around, and Lando, like I said, they both look good enough to carry the movie, even if the rest of the movie is weak.
Yeah.
I'll also say that the kid playing the title role looks more like him than I thought he would in terms of his body type.
Yeah.
Like, there are shots of, like, his profile and like shots of like a silhouette of him.
Yeah.
Where he could easily be Harrison Ford.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
But there are times when he talks where I just don't think he's got it. I just don't think he has that sort of swagger. But nobody does. Like, that's not fair. Like nobody's going to be
that's very
Harrison Ford in 1977 right now. So I'm not going to hold that against him just yet. I'm interested to see what they do with Emilia Clarke, because I just don't want some throwaway love interest. And the droid looked cool. Woody Harrelson looked whatever. But Lando and the Falcon both looked amazing. It was interesting. Chewie looked cool, but he looked short. Because Harrison Ford is way shorter than Chewbacca in the original trilogy and in the newer trilogy. And this Han Solo and Chewbacca are much closer in height to each other. So I don't know what that's about. But other than that, like I said, no real complaints. I was expecting to have a lot of bad things to say, and I can't say anything really that bad.
Yeah. So if you're watching on our YouTube channel, then real quick, I'm gonna pull up a picture of
there are a couple times where he looks a lot like Han. It's just when he starts talking that he loses me just a little bit.
Yeah.
But like I said, Lando looks incredible. And I don't know if you saw it earlier, but I tagged you in a bunch of stuff on Instagram. Just little people who watched the trailer who noticed little callbacks to the original trilogy, and Lando's got a couple of them. But Lando looks really, really good.
Lando looks amazing. He looks incredible. I'm really excited for what Lando's gonna bring, because he just, like, when he showed up in that, like, during the teaser, and he had that awesome, like, fur coat or whatever, I, like, lost it. That's where I had my, like, oh snap, this is a Star Wars movie that's about to come out, like, moment.
Right.
Like, I was really excited for Star Wars all over again, which is awesome, because I also was a little skeptical that I'd be excited for this movie just because we just got Last Jedi.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We've never in the history of the world gotten two Star Wars movies within the same year of each other. Yeah. Actually, up until this past couple years, we've never gotten one within the same 2 years of each other.
Yeah.
So to get one 5 months later, I mean, I know there's complaints about. I mean, we've talked a lot about is it becoming the new Marvel? Or you get one all the time now. But it's kind of, the 7-year-old me is freaking out that we get another Star Wars movie so quickly.
Exactly. So,
and I'm pretty stoked about it, honestly. Like, I mean, it could be whatever, and the realization I've come to is that it doesn't have to replace the original trilogy to me. Because it won't, obviously. So all I have to do is go enjoy it, and I think that's what a lot of these so-called fanboys are missing out on. There's people, I've been reading comment sections where like, oh, well, it can't be worse than Last Jedi, or it looks so bad.
Here we go.
It's bad. But like just enjoy it. You know what I mean? Just go for it, for the enjoyment of what it is, and same reason you go to Marvel. It's not like you go to Avengers 4 to see groundbreaking cinema. You go because it's a comic book movie and it's fun to watch, and Star Wars has the same thing. I understand that Star Wars has this mystique, but the original trilogy still holds that for me. Even the prequels still hold that for me.
Yeah.
So, you can still go back to them and enjoy them the same way you always did. It doesn't take away from your enjoyment of them if you happen to like a couple minutes of Last Jedi or Han Solo or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And beyond that, like, if you don't like it, don't dictate what other people do. That's what really bothers me. But but I'm more excited than I was before. I'm very, very excited. I'm more excited about the Solo trailer than I am about some of the other Star Wars news that's come out this week. But
yeah, I
I'm
agree.
sure we'll talk about that later.
I agree. So yeah, just real quick, guys, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and play the trailer, and we're gonna play what I figured. What I figured we'll do is I'm just gonna play it all the way through, and then we'll talk about it, and then me and Adam will tell you kind of what we thought about it, and we'll go from there because there is some other Star Wars news to talk about that is. I'm just interested. I'm just interested to see what Adam has to say about it. So,
not good things.
Yeah. That's what I figured. That was my assumption. So, all right, guys. So yeah, we're gonna just watch through the trailer real quick. I'm watching it on the Star Wars YouTube channel, so that. It's freaking it's awesome. It's so good. I was shocked. I honestly didn't expect what I saw. It looks action packed. It looks funny. Like we've been saying, from the beginning, Donald Glover as Lando just looks perfect. Like he looks spot on as Lando. Like it's just it's pretty. I mean, for my first impression was the same as yours. I actually kind of like the teaser trailer a little bit better than I did the actual the full trailer. And the only reason was like one, like you said, I was more convinced with what Han Solo looked like more over than what he sounded like. Like he looks.
Right, he didn't talk in the short teaser. That's why I liked it better too.
Yeah,
you could see him and he looked like him and it was cool, but he didn't really open his mouth at all, and so you didn't have to like sort of hear him not sound like Harrison Ford.
Yeah,
but again, that's not a reason to say I'm not going to go see it or anything, because nobody's going to be Harrison Ford. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just that's why I like the teaser better. I think it was like, oh my god, this is finally what we've been waiting for. It showed some cool stuff. It showed us a little slice of Lando, and that was enough. And then the trailer came out, and the trailer, if it were me and I were Disney, I would have done the teaser a couple months ago, and then the trailer yesterday.
Yeah.
Or I would have done the teaser yesterday, and then the trailer in a month or so.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done them the day after each other. I think that there wasn't enough time to really love the teaser and then get prepared to really love the trailer too.
Yeah.
But they've been really weird about their marketing for this one. I mean, we didn't even have any images until after the trailer came out either. So
yeah.
I do like it a lot though. I mean, the things that stick out to me are, like I said, right at the beginning when he says he's going to be the best pilot in Galaxy and he's looking up at the cockpit, he looks exactly like Han from Empire to me. And then when he's standing in the cantina or whatever, and he's looking out into it, and the camera's behind him, and you can't really see him. but you see his sort of silhouette. He looks a lot like Han there as well.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that's really sick is the Star Destroyer in the storm or whatever it is.
Yes.
Oh my god. That is awesome.
That was so
I really
freaking
think it's going to be cool. The only thing I'm like, what the hell is that? Is that tentacle monster?
Right?
Because I honestly can't think of what it could possibly be other than just to write something into the movie to make it, have a good third act or whatever.
Yeah.
But which would be frustrating. But other than that, like I said, nothing to complain about. Every time I watch it, I like it a little bit more, or I notice a new little nuance to it that I hadn't noticed before. So I'm stoked.
Yeah. Crazy. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, there's no one who's gonna embrace the role and respect the role more than Donald Glover.
Oh, exactly. He's definitely gonna show respect.
He's a giant Star Wars fan. He's a giant nerd. He's in tune with that youth culture.
Yeah.
That millennial culture and
exactly.
He brings that flavor to it that Billy D brought to it 40 years ago. So,
exactly. That's what I think I like the most is that he.
Yeah, I really think he's got it.
I feel like he does bring that same swagger that Billy D brought to the originals, where it was like, man, you kind of have these guys who were not necessarily, Han Solo had that certain whatever, but then you had this. He was just bad. He was just such a cool dude. Like I'll never forget the first time I saw that movie, and he introduces Leia to Lando, and I just immediately was like, dude, this guy is freaking hilarious. Like, hello there.
Yeah. He smiles nice and slow, like the way his just teeth just reveal themselves.
The cape and everything, man. The cape,
yeah,
he just
he really is the swaggiest dude in the
galaxy. He has,
and this guy, Donald Glover, is just like I said. I mean, I love Donald Glover, and I've loved him for like 10 or 15 years as a comedian, and there's so much that he has done in his career that's just super not self-confident, just super nerdy and the short shorts or the really short sleeve shirts or just mystery team. He's done a lot of stuff that's just not swaggy in the traditional sense. But I think that's what millennial swag is. You know what I mean? Like nowadays,
yeah, exactly.
They're like a flannel buttoned all the way up, and you've got like thick rimmed glasses, and that's swag. So I really think that he speaks to that side of the fan base really well. I honestly. I cannot think of anyone else they could have possibly cast. I've thought about it. There's not a single person.
No, he was made to play the role. He definitely was he was meant to play the role.
There's people you could have and whatever, but really for Lando, if you're gonna make this movie, you're gonna have Lando in it. It's got to be him or nobody.
Or no one, exactly. And so the only other the other part that I was a little bit iffy about was, like I said, it was his voice. And then kind of the what he was saying kind of threw me off just a bit, only because he was being kind of open, I feel, for Han Solo. I don't feel like
show him acquiring that cynicism a little bit.
Yeah,
like he's probably a little bit bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Like he says, I'm joining the Navy and I'm going to be the best pilot, and that's confident and self-assured, but it's not. It's naive at the same time. It's not like he's been through any real problems. And
yeah, exactly.
I think this movie will probably show him go through some stuff that makes him a little bit more reserved later on in A New Hope. The one thing that I'm not concerned about, but I'm interested to see how it works out, is that Rogue One ended right before A New Hope. Mm-hmm. This movie can't end right before A New Hope. First of all, he's nowhere near as old looking as Harrison Ford was at the beginning of New Hope. And Harrison Ford was young when New Hope came out, but he's at least 5 or 10 years older than this Han. I feel like and then the Falcon is just in a totally different condition.
Oh, yeah.
Those two things, I think, really, it's not like it can be like Rogue One where it ends and then New Hope begins. Like, it can't do that. So,
I think it might mirror Rogue One in the sense that we might get one of those scenes where at the very end, you know, it ends and then it like cuts to a scene of like maybe
he's on Tatooine or something.
Yeah, like him on Tatooine, or maybe Obi-Wan walking up to him or something like that, or him having a conversation in the bar right before Obi-Wan like approaches him or something like that. You know,
yeah,
I could definitely see it ending that way.
That train scene. I'm interested to see whether we see any Corellia.
Yeah.
It looks good.
I'm interested to see if any of what we've seen is already Corellia, and we just don't, obviously we just don't know.
The recruiting station could be, yeah. Do you think, so in Rogue One, we got CGI Tarkin, we got the butt-face guy and his friend.
Oh, yeah,
and we got Leia. Do you think we're going to have any little, there were lots of little things like that in Rogue One. You got the guy at Yavin 4 waving the ships in.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think there's anything, and Mon Mothma and Bail Organa, who do you think could be in this movie without totally destroying the canon? Or what sort of, do you think there will be those kind of fan servicey things? Or do you think it will be totally new?
I think if there's going to be fan service, it's going to be more in the, I think more in the aesthetics and more in, like, the dialogue, where it's, like, maybe they'll do, like, callbacks, like, it's a trap, and I love you, I know, and, callbacks to those kind of lines and things like that. If there's any characters that are going to be in it, the only ones that I would say, and it's really, like, me kind of, like, taking the easy route, like, R2 and C-3PO are in every single flick, so I'm almost putting money on them being in this one. So them, other than those two, though. I was
thinking maybe like Biggs.
I was just gonna say maybe Wedge and Biggs.
That would be it though. There's really maybe Tarkin, but like there's really not much you could do.
Maybe Captain Antilles, but he was
right, Wedge.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, Wedge Antilles. But I don't know. I think if Tarkin wouldn't be good in this one. Like, Rogue One made sense for him.
Giving a speech to the graduating class or something.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe. I could see that, something quick like that. Yeah, I could see that for sure.
I would say that I think that, unlike Rogue One, this movie centers around characters.
Yes, exactly.
Lando and Chewie and Han. So Rogue One, the only characters that you saw that you knew were not main characters. So this one already has them as main characters, so they might not feel the same need to pepper them in there that way. The other thing I was thinking is you might see a glimpse of Boba Fett, because obviously Han knows who Boba Fett is when they first see each other in Empire. Or you might see...
I was thinking we might see Jabba.
Or Jabba, or Greedo.
There's a lot of Greedo! Ooh, Greedo's a good one. Greedo's a good one, because he's already been in the, the prequels.
Right, exactly. So, you could see something like that. You might see, like, Django, in some way, if it is that long ago. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true, yeah.
There's little things that could be.
That's very true. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Django is definitely a good one as well. Like, he could be in it, too. I think now that I think about it realistically, if they're going to show anyone, I think you're right. It's going to be either Boba Fett, just because of the fans.
Maybe a bounty hunter or Jabba.
Yep, it's going to be some sort of bounty. I could see, like, it being one of the lesser bounty hunters, like Dengar or IG-88.
Right. And it could be ending with him going to Tatooine to pay Jabba, just like New Hope picked up.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, it could be. Or we could see him
for this whole movie.
Yeah, I was
just be going to pay him at the end.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, we could see like where he becomes like either that or where he becomes like indebted to Jabba, like right at the very end. Like, so now we understand like. Yeah, like so we have a little bit more context as to the whole reason why Boba's chasing him in the first place. So. Right. I could definitely see any number of those characters being in there. Jabba, I almost now feel like it's going to be weird to not see him in it. Because I'm like, they definitely...
It's really nothing about that, and it's even further back than that.
Yeah.
That would be the only reason.
That would be. But yeah, I could see Jabba definitely making an appearance, if not, like, at some point in time, just as, like, a crime boss. Just as, like, you know, like a callback towards the end. But the one thing I was weird about, and I had saw some other people were kind of odd about it too, was that it does kind of seem like the love interest is going to be between Han and Emilia Clarke, right? Isn't that her name?
Yeah, Takira is her character.
Yeah,
I agree. I think that I think she's got to die or something.
Oh yeah, she definitely has to die because we never see her again.
She has
obviously,
to die, or she has to make him never trust anybody. You know
That's what I was thinking. It's either gonna be that, or she's gonna be the reason why he is such a scruffy looking nerf herder.
Right.
Like he's gonna
such a scoundrel.
Yeah, exactly. She's gonna be the reason that kind of sets him off. I feel like towards women, and then that kind of gives us the context for why him and Leia had that back and forth, or why he wasn't able to say the words "I love you" to Leia.
Right, and Leia sort of turns him honest too. So like, it can't be him being, you know, at least I think it can't be him just starry-eyed in love. Because Leia turns.
Exactly, Leia's the one who makes him that way. Exactly, so.
Right. I think he might like have a thing for her and get betrayed, or have a thing for her and lose her too quickly to get that deeply into her. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm interested by that too.
I was thinking like it could be a point of contention, like she could be a point of contention between him and Lando. You know what I mean? Yeah, like maybe like that's like, you know, maybe she winds up, you know, he has a thing for her, but she really is, you know, falls for Lando instead, and you know that might be the reason.
Yeah, there's a lot of things.
Yeah.
It is interesting. I'm not, like I said, I'm not the world's biggest Emilia Clarke fan. It's not a secret that I don't like Game of Thrones very much, which is going to come up later in this conversation.
Yeah.
And I also, it's actually funny, right before we got on, I was flipping through channels and Terminator Genesis was on, and that movie is bad. And she plays Sarah Connor in that movie, and it is just...
I never saw that. I never saw it.
I haven't either, but I have now seen the final 15 minutes, and I can tell you that it's not worth watching. But no, it's bad, and she's not great in it. So I'm a little bit, you know, she's a throwaway to me. She could be played by anybody. She could be anybody, and she could change that for me. Obviously, I'm not going into it closed-minded. But, but I'm much more excited about Han and Lando and Chewie, and even Woody Harrelson looks okay. So we'll see. I'm very excited. I like all the throwbacks. So, like, for example, when Lando does that little 2-finger salute with the droid next to him.
Yep.
That's the same thing he does in Empire. Like, he does that same little motion.
Yep.
There's just little tiny things like that I think are really, really cool. And I'm also thinking, when I asked you about, like, what kind of sort of fan servicey things do you think we might see, I think we'll probably see a lot of the Falcon that you see in A New Hope. Like, you'll see Chewie play some chess or something, or you'll see them use the smuggling pods, or you'll see them install the quad gunners or something like that. So
yeah.
Falcon. And obviously a lot of Han being really good with his blaster. And the other thing is, I don't think you're going to see anything in terms of, like, lightsaber duels.
No, I think this is going to be a pretty Jedi-less movie. I don't think there's going to be any Jedi in this.
Rebels like he does in Rogue One. It's just, it's not going to happen. So I think that's pretty cool, because Han, you know, in A New Hope, he's not really intimidated by the lightsaber, but it's pretty clear through the dialogue that he's never spent time around one either. So I don't think, like, you know, he's going to fight a dark Jedi or fight even a Jedi Knight.
Yeah, that's very true.
That. He's not going to count that type of person in this movie.
That's true. Because at the time where he's doing his thing at this age, the only person in the galaxy that is even using a lightsaber that we even know of is Vader. So
right, Obi-Wan is undercover.
Yeah,
Yoda's gone.
Yeah, so that he would never have run into a Jedi at this point, you know.
Right, unless there was like a, you know, survivor from the Order 66, but I don't see it. I think that would be weak. I think that Rogue One falling back on Vader, while Vader was easily the coolest part of Rogue One, I think that wasn't the strongest example of good storytelling. I think it was just like, oh my god, we gotta throw something in here to make Star Wars.
It was that, like, because if you pull the scene of Vader, even if you have the scenes of Vader when he was talking to Krennic, if you pulled that last scene of Vader just going ham on everyone in that hallway, you lose about 25% to 30% of the cool factor that movie has. In fact, I would say you might lose almost half the cool.
100% of what makes it Star Wars, other than having the Death Star.
Yeah.
But you don't have any sort of magic in that movie.
Exactly.
This may be the first time to see Jedha, but Vader really does. I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from that scene. I could watch that scene on a loop. I love that scene.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think this movie could do that. I think that would be a mistake. I've also continued to read, despite the trailer not really having that, at least to me, it doesn't have a comedy movie air to it. Like, it feels like it's probably going to have funny lines, and obviously Lando's probably going to be hilarious, but it doesn't feel like a comedy.
Not yet. Not from what we've seen, anyway.
But I've still read that it's the funniest Star Wars movie. So
but they also said that about Last Jedi, that it was supposed to be the funniest one, and I definitely don't agree with that. The Last Jedi was good, but it wasn't funny.
No, A New Hope is funnier than Last Jedi. But yeah, so I'm interested about that. I'm back in the saddle with liking it, though. I mean,
me too, for sure.
Ron Howard really, he put out a good trailer, for sure. I don't really have anything negative to say about it, and I will definitely see the movie multiple times.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for it.
So it's gonna be a good day.
It's good. Yeah, it's gonna be a great couple months, honestly, as far as like nerd fandom goes. Black Panther looks like it's gonna destroy the box office. I'm so excited about that. And then then in May we got both Star Wars and Deadpool.
Yep, it was the week before Star Wars, and then Star Wars on the same day, like I said, is Weezer's new record, which obviously I'm going to be a fan of. So,
yeah, that's incredible. It's good couple months. So the other Star Wars news we had, and let us know, guys, in the comments, what you think about the trailer. Those listening on the Cube Gamers side, again, I know we've been kind of inconsistent streaming the Cube Gamers, but I got the dual stream going tonight, so we appreciate you stopping by, and thanks for all the comments. Typically on Wednesdays, just because you guys are so new to what we do, on Wednesdays we try to just get through the topics that we have set out, so that way we can try to get through all our thoughts, just because we typically will either have a lot to say, or it's Star Wars, so we always have more than enough to say about it. So I always kind of just hold off on the comments, just so that way we can kind of get through what we want to get through. But I do appreciate you guys dropping some comments, and like you're enjoying the show, and you guys like the trailer so far. So that's awesome. I'm glad that you guys are digging the trailer. I'm glad that we're not alone.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I lost you for a second.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you. So guys, just real quick, the only other thing that we wanted to talk about was the fact that we're going to be having some new writers for. Is it for a Star Wars show?
A new series of Star Wars movies.
A new series of Star Wars movies. So it's not a show, which when I first read, I was like, well, if they're writing this, so here's the news, guys. The writers for Game of Thrones are going to be
two showrunners and writers and I guess creators of the show.
Yep.
Are gonna write some Star Wars movies, which
yeah.
Yeah. First of all, we've already talked about the number of Star Wars movies, and at this point, I think the official count is like 18.
Yeah.
So we of new ones, not 18 including the prequels and originals.
Yeah.
So that's great. I mean, fine, I'll watch them all. But,
yep.
But at some point, you're making them for the sake of making them. I mean, Disney when they bought LucasArts, it was billions of dollars, and people were like, oh my god, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
They've made that back and then some at this point. They're really getting a return on their investment. The only thing I'll say is that Star Wars and Game of Thrones are not the same thing. And I don't like Game of Thrones. I appreciate that everyone else does, though. So I'm not going to sit here and trash Game of Thrones. That's foolish. It's the most popular show ever, and you know, everybody and their mother worships the thing.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that the tone of Game of Thrones does not belong in Star Wars. Game of Thrones is melodrama and a political soap opera set in a fantastical world that doesn't have any, to me, it doesn't have any magic or fantasy feeling whatsoever.
Yeah.
And Star Wars has that political drama as well, for sure, but the fantasy and magic of Star Wars have always superseded anything else. And I just don't need that gritty nastiness for the sake of it in Star Wars.
Right.
You know what I mean? The gritty nastiness of Game of Thrones has, to me, always been super gratuitous and there just for the sake of being there. Whereas when it exists in Star Wars, it belongs. Like seeing Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen's charred bodies.
Yeah, I was going to say, the only time things get real in Star Wars is when they need to make a point.
Right, it's super heavy, but like it's not there to move the story along. It's there because you have to see it to understand the reality of the situation.
Exactly.
People and Alderaan is heavy, but like it's not there because you know that's the point of it. So I do think that Game of Thrones falls into that trope a little bit too much. I personally think that Game of Thrones is just not creative. I just don't personally enjoy it. I think that it falls into these traps of making you want to feel a certain way and really manipulating the viewer, as opposed to just tell a story. Like just exist for the purpose of the story, and because you love the characters and you love the world that you're writing and you love, you know, the themes of the story. The problem with Game of Thrones to me has always been that the story exists despite everything else. It's not the point. And, at least to me. And the books were different. The books are okay. I just think from the show's perspective, there's a lot of like just gratuitous crap that doesn't need to be in it. There's a lot of bloodshed that doesn't have to be there. There's a lot of butt cracks and boobs that don't have to be there. That are just there because it's HBO.
It's HBO, exactly.
I don't need that from Star Wars. I don't need anything that doesn't need to be there. And I get that we're, you know, the same people that defend the existence of something like Jar Jar Binks, but Jar Jar Binks is part of the universe. Jar Jar Binks furthers the vision of Lucas, and he exists in this, you know, magical realm of imagination. He's not there gratuitously. He might seem that to you because you don't like him. That's not his. Whereas the stuff that happens in Game of Thrones and the stuff that these guys are reveled for having created exists specifically to give your testosterone a little boost, or they exist specifically to make you, you know, feel a certain way about their show, and that's just not for me. I mean, I get why people like it. I'm not here to trash it, but they need to write a great story and step back and let someone else run the movies, I feel like.
Yeah, so what I'm wondering is if these are the same movies that Rian Johnson is on. This is why I'm so confused. It's like, why, this is what I'm getting most confused about. See, the news of them, for me, them as writers, I was like, well, you know what, I'm feeling kind of the same way about Game of Thrones. My issue with Game of Thrones is, like you said, like, if you're gonna kill off a character because it serves the story. Don't kill off a character because you know that if you kill off characters left and right, you're gonna be able to keep that whole momentum of suspense going type thing, where it's like...
I do think that the whole point of Game of Thrones is that life is temporary and that, you know, the machinations of man don't matter. Like, I do think that's probably the theme. So people dying, to me, isn't the gratuitous part. But I get what you're saying, too, where it's just there as... Sometimes it's just there so that you have a cliffhanger.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it would feel like, where they would kill off characters just for the sense of like I said, like the cliffhanger or like the bringing you back to for the next episode. And that in itself is whatever. What really kind of annoyed me more than anything was the way that Disney is releasing their news about Star Wars right now. Like, we knew about all the issues with the Han Solo movie way before the trailer. Like, we knew way more about the Han Solo movie than we did about The Last Jedi, which came out...
the issues with Han Solo back in June.
Exactly. So, and then now we find out that Rian Johnson's gonna be creating a whole new trilogy. And then, almost not even a month later, we're finding out that these guys are going to be writing a series of Star Wars movies. So it's just like, I don't understand what just from a PR sense, I don't quite understand what the point of...
They're not building any suspense right now. They're doing it the Marvel way right now, where we know every Marvel movie we're getting for like 15 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we don't know anything about them. Some of them we don't have a title for, but we know every project that's happening.
Yeah.
So it's similar to that to me. The two things I'll say. One, it's really ironic to me that the people who were loud and just necks throbbing and bloodthirsty because Luke died the way he did are this, and they're like, oh, Luke died pointlessly. That's not how it go. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
These are the same people that are going to be just so stoked about this Game of Thrones thing, because I guarantee you they love Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And they're going to be so stoked about the same thing, but this is exactly the issue that we have with this sort of thing is, like, again, the gratuitous for no reason other than just to shock somebody.
Just for the sake of it.
They're complaining about Luke. They're like, there's no reason other than to have it be weird and all that. And this is exactly what the complaint is.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to me. And then, so the Rian Johnson thing is a writing, directing gig for a cohesive trilogy of movies.
Yeah.
So that will be a 1, 2, 3 type deal where it's 3 episodes of the same storyline.
Yeah.
And he's writing and directing them.
Right.
This, as we know it so far, is not a directing gig, but it is a writing gig. And it's for 3 movies, at least 3, that are unrelated to Rian Johnson's trilogy, except for the fact that they're also set in the Star Wars universe.
So what I'm thinking is that we just got the whole, like, so once this whole once we see episode 9 and that's over, and we're
episode 9, and then it'll be Kenobi or whatever the next Star Wars story
and then we'll probably start the Rian Johnson trilogy.
First episode.
Yeah, exactly. And then
the very next year it'll be the first one of these.
Yup, exactly.
So
that's it.
Right now is that these guys are good at writing. Well, good. They're popular at writing medieval sort of war sword type. People just killing each other.
Right.
Storylines. So the speculation right now is that they and the Old Republic go hand in hand with each other.
Okay.
I see the Old Republic being a big epic war and...
But I don't want to see all that melodrama BS.
Right. My problem would be that I also think that the Old Republic is a really ripe time in Star Wars history to have a lot of sort of magic and a lot of that innocent force, just not innocent, but that raw force talent that you see in games like KOTOR. And I don't know that you've really gotten to see that in Star Wars before. We got to see Yoda use the Force a lot. We got to see the Emperor in the prequels and all that. But this is a time where the Force was the main weapon and the main ally of the Jedi. And I really think that by focusing on sort of the sword-on-sword clashing, if that's what they're doing, you could really lose some of the magic part of it. And that's what I would be nervous about. But I'm not going to sit here and say it's not going to be a popular decision. I guarantee you the fanboys are frothing at the mouth.
If they go the way you're thinking, or what people are thinking in it, and they do go with the Old Republic for those in between movies, or if they even just take one of them to explore the Old Republic, and these are the guys who are writing it, I definitely can see why people who are fans of Game of Thrones would be excited about that. And not just people who are fans of Game...
They could write Bane, you know what I mean? They could write a Bane movie that is Game of Thrones-ish.
Yeah.
And I don't think very many people would have complaints about that.
Yeah.
My caution would be to not lose the magic side of it. Like, there's got to be Star Wars is all about balance, both thematically, but also just the actual direction of the movies.
Yeah.
It's, the theme of Star Wars has always been the balance between dark versus light, but there's a balance in Star Wars between violence and war, and just like imagination and love and magic.
Yeah.
And I think that balance is really important, and that's part of. I haven't really thought about it up until now, but I think that's part of why I don't like Rogue One very much.
Yeah.
Is that it doesn't have very much of that magical balance to it.
Yeah.
And even the newer movies, the episodes 8 and 9, they still do. And I think that episode 8 or 7 and 8, I should say, episode 8 maybe tried a little bit hard to force that balance with the whole second act of the movie.
Right.
But it does have that balance, whereas Rogue One doesn't even really try to.
No, Rogue One just straight up is a war movie. I mean, that's what it is.
Right. And I think that this could too easily fall way far away from what Lucas ever dreamed of. And I think that out of the Star Wars movies that exist right now, yeah, we know that he didn't love Episode 7. I know that he didn't love Episode 8. But Rogue One is the least Lucas movie I've ever seen in my life. And I really have a feeling that this could go in a similar sort of vein.
Oh, yeah. But I feel like, unfortunately, the whole saga, or not even just the whole saga, but Star Wars itself is starting to move away from,
just
the magic that it used to have. And I mean, we talked about it before, but I mean, it really is a different time to be a Star Wars fan. Like,
And it's different for me. Like, I can recognize that what Star Wars means to me is not what it means to other people.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, that
doesn't mean that the magic doesn't matter. Like,
yeah, exactly.
By definition, a Star Wars movie instead of Starship Troopers.
Our kids will never know the magic of having to have waited for so long to have poured over these old movies that are from like the 70s and 80s and the effects or whatever, but you're so in love with them that you don't even care, and you're looking past all this other stuff, and you're learning about these characters, and you're reading the books and playing the games and reading the comic books, and then all of a sudden you see a commercial for the Phantom Menace and you lose your crap because you're like, oh my god, Star Wars is back. Like, that feeling of going to the theater, even with The Force Awakens, we had some of that because it had been so long. And I feel like that's so much a part of what makes going to see a Star Wars film so magical, because there's that wait period in between where you have time to overanalyze everything and get to know the characters so well that you could literally like say every single line they ever had in the movie. Like, I liked that gap that we would get, because it's like I said, there's no feeling in the world that I had, when I first saw, Phantom Menace in theater, or when I first saw, Force Awakens in the theater, or even when I first saw Empire in the theater, Empire way back when.
There's so much that you can't match again, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, I felt like, even though, people said Lucas did this or did that or did the other, the one thing that he never did was take away that magic. The one thing he never did was push things or push Star Wars, because, everyone said, oh, Lucas is so money hungry. I guarantee that they don't think that now, because he didn't even come close to the things that Disney did. In realistic situation, George Lucas could have kept going right after Return, because of the popularity of Star Wars was at its all-time high.
Every year for the past 40 years.
Oh yeah, Star Wars was at its most popular right after Return. So he could have doubled down on that and was like, all right, I'm going to make hand over fist and just make a movie every year until these guys are sick of it. But he didn't do that because he wanted to wait till the technology caught up with what he wanted to do. He wanted to wait until he wanted to tell different stories too as well. He wanted to tell the story for Indy and all this other stuff. But, it was just kind of like, I feel like the one thing he never did was take that magic away of Star Wars. Like you said, these different, it's not just, Star Wars isn't just like Star Wars. It's just not a movie about this war in a galaxy that's far, far away. It's about these characters, it's about these love interests, it's about the idea between good and evil, it's about the idea of friendship and all these other things, and so I do feel like if we start to, we already are pushing it. We said a couple weeks back, about a month or two back, like, hey, if we never saw a Star Wars movie again for like another 30 years, we'd be happy. And then they literally the next day they decided to announce that they're going to have Star Wars for the next 30 years. So I think that's pretty much that. They pretty much are going the Marvel way with it. But Marvel.
I mean, it's their money.
It's their money. But
that's the world we live in.
Yeah,
it's just sad.
It is sad. It is sad. But then at the same time, I think Black Panther's about to come out and whatever. So Marvel and Deadpool's coming out soon. But that's Fox. That's not Marvel, right? I don't think it's Fox.
Yeah, Marvel owns Fox now, but they didn't when Deadpool.
When the first one came out, right? So it was just. It's so I'm just kind of like Marvel. They the issue is that Disney has enough money to pump out enough movies a year where a couple of them can be crappy, and it's perfectly okay because they'll still make their money, So it's just kind of like I'm hoping that the Star Wars one isn't one of them. I'm hoping that the Solo movie is good. I'm hoping that these writers. I mean, I don't have high hopes for what they're gonna put down on paper, but we'll see when it comes, because it should be a couple years away at least. So who knows? The world might not even be here by the time we get those Star Wars movies, if all goes right. So, but yeah, guys, thanks for joining us. We were able to talk a little bit about the trailer. You guys had some stuff to say about it. So we really appreciate the comments. I definitely agree with some of the things you guys are saying. I'm just kind of throw it all into one synopsis, so that way I don't have to individually.
So they won't load on my screen. So
I'm reading the comments actually from the Cube Gamers.
I can't help you there.
Yeah, side of it, but just to kind of summarize it. Yeah, guys, it looks really cool. I agree. Lando, like we said, looks awesome. We're also not sure how we feel about Emilia Clarke. We'll figure it out. We'll see. I don't, and Orange 248, I agree with you. It might make the relationship between Han and Leia weird, but that's only if we see this actually turn into something. I don't think the relationship between Han and Leia will be altered whatsoever if this doesn't work out. I can see how maybe you might feel that way if somehow Emilia Clarke and Han, I can't remember the name of the girl's character. It's like Takira. Yeah, if her and Han do. Oh, okay. If they actually do get together, I could see how you would feel like that kind of put some sort of asterisk on his relationship with Leia. But I don't think that's going to happen because we obviously know that she's dead because we've never heard or seen her character ever before. So, and Star Wars characters have a tendency of coming back, even though the galaxy is apparently massive. There's only 7 characters in it, so they have a tendency to come back. So if she was going to be around, we would have seen her again, and she's not. So I would say that she's probably going to die in this one. But yeah, guys, thanks for the comments. We appreciate it. Thanks for all the new subs. On the Cube Gamer side of things, guys, we're about to hit 800 subscribers. So keep coming. We really like that. Tune in for more content. I know a couple other contributors got some cool content going up tomorrow for Monster Hunter. So if you guys are interested in Monster Hunter at all and are looking for some tips and tricks on how to do some hunting, check out some videos tomorrow that are going to be getting posted up onto our Cube Gamers YouTube channel. And thanks for joining us. You can find this is Talking Sith. We're here every Wednesday. We're going to be streaming to both channels if I can swing it. So yeah, we're here every Wednesday. We just like to talk about Star Wars. Usually we got Battlefront playing in the background, but I wanted to go over the trailer and talk about that today. Plus we don't have Jared, and usually he streams his gameplay because he's the good one. So he's usually the one who streams his gameplay. So without him tonight, I was like, you know what? You guys don't want to see me just blumber around in Battlefront. So we'll have that next week. I'll have some news about updates in Battlefront 2 next week. I didn't have time to get to those today. Adam's got to go because he's got to get his little one in the bath and all that fun stuff. We got to go back to being dad. So find us at Talking Sith at YouTube. You can find us at Talking Sith on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We always have stuff going up there, so yeah, check us out. Once again, I really appreciate it. Thanks again, guys, for coming. Let us know how you feel about the new setup, the face cam, all the transitions. Give us some notes so we can improve. But yeah, guys, we will talk to you next week. Thanks for joining us.